camper van like this is reliant on nice holding hands to hold it together, you know?
Yes.
For years, Sam Lovegrove was the calm and brilliant mind behind Shed and Buried. He was the man who could breathe life back into any engine, no matter how far gone. But then, without warning or farewell, everything changed. Episodes began airing without him. His seat in the van was suddenly empty, and his name was missing from credits where it once belonged. No announcement was made, and no explanation was offered, and for a while, it seemed like the show had simply moved on without him. What exactly happened to Sam Lovegrove, and why did he seem to vanish from the spotlight? After years of guessing, we finally know what happened to Sam, and the truth is not what anyone expected. Who is Sam Lovegrove? While many viewers know Sam Lovegrove best as the soft-spoken, bearded counterpart to the ever-energetic Henry Cole on Shed and Buried, what most people don't realize is that his credentials go far beyond tinkering in sheds or hauling vintage finds across the UK countryside. Sam Lovegrove was born in the West Country, England, a region known for its rolling green hills, tight-knit rural communities, and deep traditions in craftsmanship. Although details about his childhood remain relatively private, what is certain is that Sam grew up immersed in a world where practical skills and engineering know-how were both respected and essential. From a young age, he showed a strong fascination with machines, especially motorcycles and high-performance vehicles. Unlike many TV personalities who fall into fame without the grounding of real-life experience, Sam's journey was the opposite. Long before television, Sam had already carved out a solid name in British engineering circles. He pursued mechanical engineering in university, and whether in the classroom or in the workshop, Sam quickly built a reputation for understanding the intricate marriage of performance and mechanics. What's especially impressive about Sam Lovegrove's career is the caliber of the machines he's worked on. This isn't just someone who dabbles in engine repair or modifies bikes for fun. Sam has had hands-on experience with some of the most sophisticated high-performance vehicles in the world. He reportedly contributed to the engineering behind the Honda NSX, a car that redefined Japanese performance vehicles in the 1990s. Then came his involvement with the Corvette Le Mans, a race car designed for the brutal demands of endurance motorsport. This car is a precision machine, built for speed, stamina, and survival at one of the world's most prestigious races, and Sam was trusted with its inner workings. His portfolio doesn't stop there. Sam has also worked with Jaguar and Aston Martin, two of Britain's most iconic automotive brands. These aren't companies that hire engineers lightly. Working on vehicles under these banners means working with advanced systems, tight tolerances, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Sam's involvement in these projects reflects not only technical expertise but also the kind of quiet confidence that only comes with years of hands-on experience. But perhaps one of his most defining roles came when he served as chief engineer at Bras Superior, a name that speaks volumes in motorcycle history. Once described as the Rolls-Royce of motorcycles, Bras Superior originally rose to fame in the early 20th century, attracting the likes of Lawrence of Arabia as loyal customers. The brand was later revived, and Sam played a critical role in this modern rebirth. As chief engineer, he wasn't just restoring old bikes, he was helping reimagine an iconic name for a new generation, blending vintage aesthetics with cutting-edge performance. It was the kind of job that demanded both respect for history and a sharp eye for innovation, and Sam was more than up to the task. Despite this high-level background, Sam never acted like a celebrity or sought the spotlight. In fact, his leap into television happened almost by accident. It wasn't until 2013, when he crossed paths with Henry Cole during the filming of The Motorbike Show, that Sam's career took a sharp and very public turn. At the time, Henry Cole was already an established TV presenter and motorbike enthusiast, always on the lookout for interesting people who truly lived and breathed motorcycles. Sam fit the bill perfectly, because he knew everything about engines, bikes, and vintage gear, and more importantly, he had a presence. Sam was calm, collected, and fiercely competent, offering a grounded contrast to Henry's more animated personality. Their on-screen chemistry was instant, built not on forced drama or scripted banter, but on genuine respect and shared passion for all things mechanical. That chemistry would eventually become the foundation for Shed and Buried, the show that introduced Sam Lovegrove to a much wider audience. But the thing is, even when he was thrust into the public eye, Sam never let fame change him. Viewers were drawn to his dry humor, encyclopedic knowledge of engines, and the calm, methodical way he approached every mechanical puzzle. You could tell immediately that this wasn't a performance. This was who he really was. In many ways, Sam brought something rare to television: authenticity. He wasn't trying to be a character, nor was he chasing attention. He was simply doing what he loved by fixing things, solving problems, and keeping mechanical history alive, one bolt at a time. It's no wonder that fans became deeply attached to him over the years. He wasn't just a sidekick or a supporting figure. He became the steady hand and quiet force behind the success of Shed and Buried. But then, almost as quietly as he came onto the scene, Sam Lovegrove began to fade from it. What happened to Sam, and why did he disappear from the public's eye? The rise of Shed and Buried. When Shed and Buried first aired, it didn't come with the glitz of a major television franchise or the flash of heavily scripted drama. It was simple: 2 men, 1 van, a map dotted with remote villages and back garden sheds. And yet, that simplicity is exactly what made it so compelling. The format struck a chord almost immediately. It was authentic, relatable, and oddly addictive. The concept was straightforward. Sam Lovegrove and Henry Cole would travel across the United Kingdom, venturing into people's sheds, garages, barns, and storage units, hunting for forgotten mechanical treasures. From rust-covered motorcycles to dusty old cars and rare vintage equipment, no 2 finds were ever the same. Some were genuine gold mines. Others were little more than sentimental junk. But the thrill wasn't just in what they found. It was in how they found it, and more importantly, who found it. The show was a kind of treasure hunt, but with oil-stained overalls instead of pirate hats. But the show's secret weapon was the perfect contrast in personalities between Sam and Henry. Henry Cole, already known to UK audiences for The Motorbike Show and World's Greatest Motorcycle Rides, brought with him a dynamic, fast-talking charm. He was the wheeler dealer, the one making cheeky offers, haggling over prices, and occasionally biting off more than he could chew. Henry was the energy of the show, constantly pushing forward, looking for the next deal, and always hunting for resale value. Then there was Sam Lovegrove, the calm to Henry's storm. He wasn't interested in flipping things for a quick buck. What mattered to Sam was craftsmanship, design, and mechanical integrity. Where Henry saw a quirky collectible with potential resale value, Sam saw an engineering puzzle waiting to be solved. He could identify obscure parts on site, recall production years by memory, and tell within minutes whether something was worth restoring or destined for the scrapyard. This dynamic made the show more than just a travelogue or a restoration series. It was about 2 men with different priorities learning to value each other's perspectives. And the viewers loved it. One of the standout elements of Shed and Buried was the way it allowed Sam's knowledge to shine without being overproduced. He wasn't trying to show off, but when he knelt next to a rusted-out bike and started identifying the engine configuration or explaining a design flaw from the 1950s, you could see the years of experience behind every word. Sam's knowledge wasn't scripted, it was second nature. Over time, the show delivered several unforgettable moments and scenes that became fan favorites and proved the show had more depth than most gave it credit for. One such moment was the restoration of a Red Villiers motorcycle. On the surface, it looked like a lost cause, with faded paint and seized components that were barely recognizable. But where most would have walked away, Sam saw possibility. As viewers watched the painstaking restoration unfold piece by piece, the bike was slowly brought back to life. It wasn't just about the final result. It was about watching someone with true skill breathe life into history. Another highlight was the transformation of a Ford Galaxy police car. Found sitting in a field and sinking into the soil, the car was in rough shape. But Henry, in classic fashion, was excited by its novelty and potential value. Sam, skeptical at first, was eventually won over by the sheer uniqueness of the vehicle. The result was a brilliant rebuild, that kept the car's original charm while restoring its mechanical heart, making it one of the show's most ambitious and memorable projects. And then there were the episodes that took the duo to legendary locations, like the National Motorcycle Museum. For any bike enthusiast, it was sacred ground. Watching Sam walk among the vintage Triumphs and Nortons was like watching a scholar in a rare book library. His reverence for the machines and the history behind them added a layer of emotional depth to the show that few expected. But beyond the restorations and road trips, Shed and Buried was really about something more universal, and that was nostalgia and rediscovery. Every shed they entered was filled with stories and objects people had forgotten about, inherited, or tucked away in the hopes of fixing them one day. And while Henry was often quick to broker a deal, Sam treated those stories with quiet respect. He understood that even rusted-out frames held memories, and his approach gave the show a certain soul that fans connected with deeply. But the more episodes aired, the more fans began to take notice of Sam specifically. He was trustworthy, knowledgeable, and oddly endearing. In a television landscape filled with personalities trying to outshine one another, Sam Lovegrove was the kind of person you'd actually want to help you fix your bike or just sit and chat with in the corner of a garage. As the show built momentum, episode by episode, developing a loyal following, Shed and Buried quietly became one of the most beloved niche programs on British television. It appealed to enthusiasts, tinkerers, collectors, and anyone who ever had a dusty box of old tools in their shed. And then suddenly, without any grand announcement or dramatic farewell, Sam Lovegrove began appearing less frequently, and the fans started to notice. What happened to Sam Lovegrove? Was he taking a break? Or had he left the show completely? The shocking disappearance. For several seasons, Sam Lovegrove was a constant presence on Shed and Buried. Whether crouched over a motorcycle frame or calmly analyzing the mechanics of an old tractor engine, his knowledge and grounded personality were a key part of what made the show work. Fans came to expect his quiet humor, his eye for quality, and the way he balanced Henry Cole's energetic spirit. But then, almost without warning, he was gone. Perhaps what's more shocking about his disappearance is the fact that the change didn't come with a headline. There was no big announcement, no farewell episode, no social media message to hint that anything had shifted behind the scenes. It was quiet and unceremonious, and it left viewers puzzled. The first real signs of Sam's absence came during Season 4 of Shed and Buried, which aired from May to December 2022. At the beginning of that season, everything seemed normal. Sam and Henry were back on the road, digging through cluttered garages and dusty sheds, arguing over price tags and getting their hands dirty with forgotten relics of Britain's mechanical past. But halfway through the season, Sam began appearing less frequently. Episodes aired without him. Occasionally, old clips or repurposed segments would still include his voice or presence, but newer footage featured Henry working with other companions or simply going solo. For fans who had followed the series for years, the change was jarring. The mystery deepened when Sam was also absent from Junk and Disorderly, another show in the same motoring universe, also hosted by Henry Cole. While it wasn't unusual for the two to work on separate projects from time to time, the fact that Sam was missing from both series and that his absence had not been addressed set off a wave of speculation online. Fans took to forums, social media groups, and YouTube comment sections to ask the same question. What happened to Sam Lovegrove? The rumors began to swirl, and theories multiplied. Some fans speculated that he had fallen ill or that a medical issue had forced him to step away from filming. Others wondered if he had quit the show voluntarily, perhaps tired of the filming schedule or preferring a quieter life away from the camera. A few fans even floated more dramatic theories that hinted at a falling out with Henry Cole. As the months passed, the lack of any official statement from the show's producers or from Sam himself only fueled the rumors. Viewers began parsing old interviews and behind-the-scenes footage for clues. Was there tension between the co-hosts? Had something gone wrong behind the scenes? But when examined closely, most of these theories don't hold up. For one, there is no credible evidence that Sam suffered from any serious illness or accident during or after his final appearances. While Sam has always been a private person, no extreme health-related reports or concerning public posts surfaced. He didn't appear frail or unwell in his last episodes, If he did step back for health reasons, it was likely for something private and manageable, not a dramatic or life-threatening situation. Similarly, there was no indication of a rift between Sam and Henry Cole. In fact, whenever Sam has been mentioned by Henry in interviews or on social media, it has been with affection and respect. There has been no suggestion of tension, creative disagreements, or contractual disputes. The two shared real camaraderie on screen, and there's nothing to suggest that changed off-screen. And as for the theory that Sam was fired, that doesn't quite add up either. Sam was never a background extra or a replaceable figure. He was one half of the show's heart and soul. His unique knowledge and genuine presence were central to Shed and Buried's appeal. Removing him without a reason or a send-off would have made little sense from a production standpoint. More likely, his exit, temporary or otherwise, was driven by personal choice. The problem, of course, is that no official explanation was ever given. And in the vacuum of silence, fans were left to fill in the blanks. Even more frustrating was the fact that no one from the production side seemed eager to address the issue directly. Henry Cole continued hosting, new episodes aired with replacement co-hosts or solo segments, and the show's social media platforms made no mention of Sam's absence. For longtime viewers who had grown attached to the duo, this silence felt glaring. But if there's one thing consistent about Sam Lovegrove, it's his dislike of unnecessary attention. He's never been one for press tours or constant updates. He doesn't promote himself on flashy platforms or overshare online. It's entirely in character for Sam to step back quietly, without a fuss or without needing to explain. Some fans have pointed out that Sam may simply prefer working behind the scenes, returning to private engineering work or independent projects where cameras and scheduling demands don't interfere with the work he loves. After all, before television, Sam had an established and respected career in high-level automotive engineering. It's not hard to imagine him choosing to return to those roots. Others have speculated that filming schedules may have conflicted with personal priorities. Perhaps Sam wanted to spend more time with family or focus on work that wasn't confined to the limitations of reality TV. He'd never been a typical celebrity, and the demands of a growing audience might have been a price he wasn't willing to pay. The point is, none of the darker rumors hold water. Still, the question remained unanswered for a long time. If Sam wasn't pushed out and if nothing bad happened, then where exactly did he go and why? That question would linger for nearly a year, and then, slowly, small pieces of the truth began to surface. The truth behind Sam's disappearance. After months of silence, guesswork, and speculation, fragments of the truth behind Sam Lovegrove's disappearance from Shed and Buried finally began to emerge. Not in the form of a dramatic press release or headline-grabbing statement, but in quiet, consistent details pieced together by attentive fans and industry insiders. Unlike the dramatic exit narratives that often dominate TV gossip columns, Sam's departure was neither scandalous nor abrupt. It wasn't the result of a falling out, a firing, or some hidden crisis. The truth, as it turns out, is far more grounded and personal. It was later discovered that in mid to late 2022, around the time of his gradual exit from Shed and Buried and the simultaneous absence from Junk and Disorderly, Sam reportedly took time off due to a mild illness. Though not life-threatening or publicly discussed in detail, the illness was enough to require rest and a re-evaluation of priorities. It was the first real pause in years of filming, traveling, and high-pressure production work. And for someone like Sam, who had spent decades in demanding engineering roles before stepping into the television world, it became a natural opportunity to reset. During this period, Sam relocated to Cornwall, a move that would prove significant. The Cornish countryside, known for its slower pace, stunning coastlines, and tight-knit artisan communities, offered the kind of environment where someone like Sam could return to the work he truly enjoyed. And that's hands-on engineering without the pressure of performance or production deadlines. Cornwall also allowed him the chance to stay closer to home and dedicate more time to the people who matter most. Because while Sam rarely spoke about his personal life on camera, it's now known that he has a wife and 4 children. For years, his filming commitments would have required long stretches away from home, traveling from shed to shed, often across remote parts of the UK. The physical toll of filming combined with the emotional pull of family life may have prompted Sam to reconsider what he wanted his daily life to look like moving forward. Stepping away from television wasn't just about health or family, it also appears to have been a matter of creative choice. Some insider reports have claimed that after several seasons, Sam reportedly began to feel boxed in by the structure of the show. Though Shed and Buried was lighthearted and unscripted in tone, television by nature still comes with rigid production formats, set run times, and predetermined beats. For someone with Sam's technical mind and creative curiosity, that repetition may have started to feel limiting. Sources close to the production suggest that Sam longed for more creative freedom, possibly even the ability to explore mechanical projects without having to shape them for the camera. For a craftsman, being filmed in the middle of intricate restoration work can sometimes be more frustrating than rewarding. There's always a schedule to stick to, always a shot to reframe, and often a deadline that doesn't allow the process to unfold naturally. Over time, those constraints might wear thin, especially for someone whose love for engineering began long before the cameras showed up. And so, rather than pushing through the fatigue or forcing himself to stay in a role that no longer aligned with his interests, Sam quietly stepped back, not with fanfare or conflict, but with a simple, voluntary decision to return to a more private, hands-on life. But what most fans of the show find disturbing is the fact that no official statement was ever made by Sam or by the show's producers. In the world of entertainment, this is increasingly rare. Most TV exits are followed by formal messages, Instagram posts, or farewell segments. But in Sam's case, silence was the statement. He didn't need a public explanation, and neither did the producers try to spin the story. This silence, far from being suspicious, actually speaks volumes about the nature of his departure. It was amicable. There was no drama to clean up, no tension to resolve, and no need for damage control. It was simply a respected team member stepping back on his own terms. In hindsight, the lack of a formal goodbye also fits with Sam's personality. He never played the celebrity. He never used the show to build a brand or boost a personal profile. There were no promotional campaigns, social media hustles, and no flashy appearances. For Sam, it was always about the work, the bikes, the engines, and the joy of fixing something long forgotten. And when that stopped being the primary focus, it made perfect sense that he would choose to walk away. What's perhaps most admirable is how cleanly and quietly he made that exit. No bridges were burned, no explanations demanded, and no loyalty was compromised. Instead, he was just a man choosing a quieter path, on his own schedule for his own reasons. Still, for many fans, the lingering question remained, where exactly is Sam now, and will he ever make a comeback? He may no longer be on television, but Sam Lovegrove's story didn't end when he disappeared from the screen. In fact, it only shifted into a new chapter that many loyal fans have been eager to uncover. Will Sam Lovegrove make a comeback? For fans who feared that Sam Lovegrove had simply vanished into the ether after leaving Shed and Buried, the good news is he hasn't. He's still very much around. He just chose to step out of the spotlight and return to where he feels most at home, the workshop. Today, Sam Lovegrove continues to do what he's always done best, and that's build, restore, and engineer. According to reliable sources, Sam is still closely involved with Bra Superior, the legendary motorcycle manufacturer where he once served and likely still serves as chief engineer. If you're unfamiliar with the brand, Bra Superior is not just another name in the motorcycle world, it's a legacy. Known for precision engineering and rich history, the company produces bikes that are as much mechanical artwork as they are road machines. Working with Bra Superior is no small task. Their bikes require an obsessive attention to detail, a deep understanding of vintage design, and a willingness to innovate without compromising tradition. Sam has all three. While he may no longer appear on camera every week, the engineering world still knows him as a figure of deep respect and quiet influence. His role there speaks volumes not just about his capabilities, but about his continued commitment to quality and craftsmanship. Outside the factory floor, reports have it that Sam occasionally pops up at motorcycle events, local engineering exhibitions, and enthusiast workshops. While he avoids the limelight, he hasn't completely disappeared from the community. Fans who attend vintage motor shows in the UK might be lucky enough to see him in his element, quietly discussing cylinder heads, hand-forged parts, or unusual restoration techniques with fellow gearheads. But at the heart of it all is a lifestyle that suits him far more than television ever could. Sam now lives in Cornwall with his wife and their 4 children, where he relocated during his time off from Shed and Buried. Cornwall offers a calmer pace of life, far from the constant filming schedule, bright lights, and tight production timelines of television. It's the kind of place where a man can wake up early, walk through quiet farmland, and spend the day at the forge without interruption. And that's exactly how Sam seems to prefer it. In a media age where everyone is expected to constantly promote themselves, Sam's retreat from visibility is almost radical, but in the best way possible. He's reportedly spending much of his time focused on hands-on restoration and custom metalwork, not for a show or for clicks, but for the sheer satisfaction of doing things the right way. Whether it's an antique bike with a frozen engine or a piece of historical machinery long forgotten by the public, Sam approaches every job with the same quiet care that made him such a compelling figure on screen. And it's not just about machinery, it's about purpose. After years of working under the structured demands of television, Sam now has the freedom to work on his own schedule, explore his own interests, and take on projects that actually inspire him. There's no deadline for drama and no scripted punchline, just real work done well. So where is Sam Lovegrove now? Well, he's exactly where he wants to be. He's in his element, restoring life to the forgotten, bringing mechanical beauty back from the brink, and doing it all without fuss. And for those wondering whether Sam might ever return to television, the answer seems open-ended. There's been no official word, but also no sign that he's completely shut the door on future appearances. If the right project came along, something with more creative freedom, more authenticity, and less rigidity, he might well be tempted back. But for now, the spotlight isn't calling, and Sam doesn't miss it. In the end, Sam Lovegrove didn't disappear. He just returned to being who he's always been, and that's an engineer, a craftsman, and a man who values the work over the recognition. And honestly, in a world that often values noise over substance, maybe that's exactly the kind of story worth paying attention to. Would you love to see Sam make a comeback on television? Tell us in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click on the next video on your screen, like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more updates.